Welcome to my journey to the top. It's always a privilege and an honor to have our audience who are listening to us. And today, again, it's a special day because personally, I have a special guest who's an incredible entrepreneur doing amazing things in the tech space on the continent. But his projects are not only focusing on Africa, but it's really a global project. But not only an entrepreneur, but for me, he's a brother first and a great friend of mine. We've worked the journey together in many ways. So he has done extremely well in terms of accolade. And one of the greatest accolade, it was in 2021 where he featured on the Forbes magazine under 30 as a successful leader in the year 2021. And after that, he has done amazing things in business and entrepreneurship. And also he's a great philanthropist because he believes strongly in giving back into community, which he will elaborate with us today. So with me, I have the honor and privilege of having Hertzy Kabeya. We call him Mr. Kabeya. We call him Mr. CEO. So welcome to my journey to the top,
Thank you very much, Benny.
Yeah, it's a privilege and an honor for us to use this platform because we've used many informal platform to discuss life and all of it. So with us, we are honored and thrilled to have you and accept our invitation to be part of my journey to the top. How are you today?
I'm good. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me on your show.
All right, no, it's a pleasure. And today we just wanna have an opportunity to dive into your journey to the top. I know that your story is one of an inspiring story, starting from me personally and to all the listeners who will follow us today. So maybe tell us about you. Just give us more your background and what's more captivating before we start unpacking. It's more about your upbringing and background.
Okay, great. I mean, I'm a very simple guy, right? I grew up in Congo. The first part of my life, if I have to divide my life in two, is at this point, I grew up in Congo, Kinshasa, was born there until I was 18, then moved to South Africa to pursue my university studies. And the plan was not even to come to South Africa, actually.
Wow.
I was on my way to
it.
Morocco.
Wow.
Yeah. Funny, we were discussing it like a few days ago with some friends. I was on my way to Morocco and with a bursary from the Moroccan embassy and all. And then it just happened that we had a party at home. And I had to take like the leftover food to go and drop at my aunt's place.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. So as I take the leftover food, load in the car, drive to my aunt's place, and then I find my uncle with his friend.
Wow.
And then his friend was on a computer. And then I'm dropping the food in the kitchen and I'm like, that is computer. I'm looking for a computer. I need to buy a computer, a laptop.
Wow.
He's like, but what do you need a laptop? He's like, I'm going to study in Morocco. So I heard that there they need laptops to do assignments and all. And he's like, what are you going to study? I'm like, I'm going to study business management. He's like, why would you study in French? Business, you must study in English.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. He's like, no, you cannot study business in French.
Wow.
You must study business in English. Like, your parent must send you to an English-speaking country. I'm like, but the US, the UK, it's all expensive, man. I can't afford it. And the guy is like, no, come to South Africa. I mean, I'll host you there. Don't go to Joburg. Come to Cape Town.
Wow.
I'll host you there. And then you can stay with me, and then I'll help you apply for university and stuff. But I'm strongly convinced that you must study in English.
Amazing.
And this is the first time that I meet this guy. Okay. And then me, I'm like, I want the computer. He's like, no, I can sell you my laptop. I'm like, okay, cool. We exchange numbers. And then he's like, yeah. And then I can come and see your mom as well to discuss the Cape Town opportunity. I'm like, great. So I get home and then I told my mom there's this guy that's selling laptop, our uncle's friends. And he's like, okay. My mom's like, okay, invite him. So we call him the next day. He brings the laptop to sell to us and then convince my mom that I should go to Cape Town. And then, mind you, I've got a anniversary to go to Morocco.
Wow.
And then, and I was literally supposed to go to Morocco, be starting in September. But then in September, instead of being in Morocco, I was on my way to South Africa.
What a shift.
This is how I got to South Africa. He convinced my dad, he convinced my mom, and then boom, I was on my way to South Africa.
Wow.
This is how I got here. So that's my upbringing. That's how I found myself in South Africa. And then came here and within the first few months, started trading textbooks at university. But mind you, I had a chicken coop back home.
Yeah, that's where
it started.
That's where I was like, no. Let's not. There's a lot of good things to unpack before we get into into university. So maybe let's rewind and talk about chicken.
So the chicken business. Yeah. Oh gosh. So I'll tell you how it happened. Right? It's crazy.
Wow.
So with my friend, we were trying to establish a transportation business.
So, and give us an idea at what age, because
I
that's
was
amazing.
16 at the time. Yeah, I was 16 at the time. Yeah. So, but from a young age, and since I was 7, I already knew what my life will be. And you can ask my cousin, my parents, my siblings, they'll tell you from age 7 already, I already knew. And then they were already calling me CEO, actually.
Yeah,
from
age 7. I know we called you CEO many years before.
Yes, correct. So they were calling me CEO already. And then, and then I already knew that I'll be like in politics and economics. So I'm like, I'll influence finance, the economy, and politics, not be a politician myself, but to the point where at age 16, I actually wrote a letter to the African Union.
Wow.
And addressed to Gaddafi about this whole concept of the United States of Africa. I thought it was not the right time to implement it. And then I was giving suggestions on what we need to put in place. So that's like at a young age.
Wow.
So at age 16, the transportation business did not work. And then the guy we were trying to buy the bus from advised us about the poultry business. And then we started to do research on that with my friend. Mind you, we were like leaving schools and running away from school just to go to town and then market to know where can we buy the chickens and stuff, the chicks actually, and all of that. So where do we get the food? Age 16. And then we managed to convince my friend's mom to give us space at the back. But then before that, we convinced my dad's friend to give us space. But then I failed grade 11, right?
Wow.
At age 17, I failed grade 11. My dad asked his friend that I should stop that poultry business because I'm failing at school.
Wow.
And then we moved the business to my friend's house. Managed to convince the mom. She gave us like a little space in the back.
In the backyard.
Yeah, and in the backyard, and we had our chickens there. And then that was the business. We're selling chickens and eggs. So that's the business. That's how I started. And then my goal was to create, I remember the name of the company. I studied Latin, okay?
Yes.
So I remember the name of the company. It was Gallina Company. Gallina means chicken in Latin.
Wow.
So it was Gallina Company. And the idea that I had, I wanted to disrupt the egg business, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, imagine if we could put, I call it shake and pour. If we could put all the ingredients and the eggs in a container already, the same way you do like bottled milk, and all you need to do is to shake and pour. And then I called it shake and pour. And then that was the concept. I still have the papers that I was designing when I was like 16.
16?
Yeah, 16, 17. And then that was my concept. I'm like, we'll say the raw eggs, but we'll also put with various ingredients already. And then where I felt to get the business right was on the conservation or the preservation of the food. I'm like, how do you preserve the food?
How do you preserve
So the idea never materialized. But then that was the idea that I wanted with Gallina Company. It was not just to sell eggs and stuff. I wanted to disrupt the market.
Wow. Wow.
At that age.
So from 16, you were already a disruptor.
Yeah, I'm like, we must break the system,
you were ready to disrupt it.
Yes.
And now, when Dad brought to the attention of your friends that no, let's put a pause on the business for you. How did you manage that? Because I know that from that time there was that burning desire deep in you to push the business, and then you had to pause and then focus on the study. But maybe tell us about that.
I did not focus on my studies. To be honest with you, I've never been like a person. I know I'm in education and technology now, but I've never been a guy big on studies. For me, it has always been a means to an end. I used to study just to understand key concepts that I was interested in.
Wow.
So in school, for example, I was not really good with Latin, math, and I was good with English because I was interested in the English language and French, and then history, geography, and African sociology. So those are the when you look at my marks, those are the things I was excelling. Anything I was not interested in, I was not touching. So schools, it was never about grades for me. It was about which subject are you interested in. Then I will spend my time. And physics as well. I started towards later in my high school, and I started to actually love physics. And then I was just like, yeah. So school for me was never a priority. So when they said I must shut the business down, I felt like you are basically telling me be useless, So what we did at night, we negotiated with the security guards at my dad's friend's house. And like, no, we'll come in and get all our wood and everything. And then we were moving. And I don't know if you're familiar with Kinshasa.
Yes.
There is Shanik Metal by Kintambo Magaza. There's Shanik Metal there. So he was somewhere there by Shanik Metal, just before Mobutu's, our former's house.
Yes.
So we were moving the wood from there all the way to Sosimat.
Wow.
Me and my friend carrying the wood every evening from after school. We'll go in and carry that until we moved everything. And then we had a carpenter that will help us remove the structure and then we'll move it. I remember, his name was Papa Baudouin. He helped us so well.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we moved the thing to Sosimat. And then we established our things there. And then after that, the mom said, no, move it to the house in Marcampagne. So we moved from Sosima to Marcampagne. And then we were carrying it ourselves. And sometimes you get those guys with their wheelbarrows. So you put the things and then you carry it with them. So at that age,
but and then when you were doing it, the aim was what? Just for you to still have the business, but in a different, location where the parents will not interfere with.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, no, you can have influence at your friend's house, but not at my friend's mom's house. So we'll move it there, and we won't tell you.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember we had such a big fallout with my dad when he heard that I was still continuing this, and then he says, "No, finish your grade 12." And then after that, I'll finance that business.
Wow.
And then I remember going to his office and then with a business plan, with everything, he could not believe it. He went home, he's like, this kid brought me a business plan with the amount that he wanted and everything.
Wow.
And at 17, he's not even done with his high school. And then our family friends, my parents' friends, and then one of them, she was actually doing the poultry business. She's like, just let him do it. Come on. He's entrepreneurial. Let him do it. It's like, no. My dad's like, no, he must finish his studies first. He cannot be selling eggs and chicken.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. So the business never really took off because when I finished my grade 12, I was on my way to South Africa.
Wow. And then now that's another, as you say, 2 part of your life. Now that's, again, another exciting part of your life coming into South Africa. So unpack that journey when now coming into South Africa, it's with the mentor who suggested that no, you should not study in Morocco and you come back to this side.
It turned out the dude did it actually for his own benefit. At the time, I remember, he actually wanted someone that would pay his rent.
Wow.
That is why he was so convinced. It was not really about my own good. So it turned out that it just worked out. Because when he was convincing us, he had financial issues.
Wow.
Back here in Cape Town. He could not afford to pay his rent. So he was living in a bachelor in town, Cape Town foreshore. So he needed to pay. And we discovered it much later.
Wow.
Because when we got here, And we don't know really South Africa, I think so.
100%. Yeah.
So he's like, no, it's $500 per month for his stay.
Yes.
And he's going to stay with me. We'll share the rent. And then man was paying $500. Sorry, I said $500,000. He said $500.
Exactly.
Yeah, I said $500,000. Sorry,
That's a big amount.
sorry. So yeah, $500 a month. And then it was 3,700 at the time, not the amount that you see now.
Yes.
It was 3,700 at the time, and then we were paying it, but the rent for him was actually 3,000 rand. So he even had 700 extra for electricity and all.
Wow.
And then he was paying nothing. So we only discovered it when I decided to move out and then get a similar bachelor for myself.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that the price was actually 3,000, not 6,000.
Wow.
So I realized, he brought me here so that I can pay for his rent and then contribute for food and all of that. So he was actually using me. But then, anyway, the relationship broke down at some point. So the guy brought me here, but really helped me get into university.
Yeah.
And in fact, first time he get me get into university, 2010, I did not. You helped me get into university. Remember? What is his name? What is his name? Paolo.
What's the name of
Pablo.
our friend? Oh, I forgot. I know the Antonio.
You helped me get into university.
Yes.
Actually. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be at university. Because it was the second time applying. And then second time, you forgot.
Yeah.
You forgot that you helped me. And it was random. We bumped into each other at university and everything. Not that I'm thinking about it. Yes. So we get there and then I was just not accepted. I said, no, I'll speak to Antonio. And you introduced me to Antonio. And the next day, Antonio takes me to the HOD. We convinced the HOD and they accept me.
Wow.
Yeah. So he helped me get into university, actually.
Yeah, that's the story of our life. This is our journey. I'm still remembering all the good people that were around us and that believed in our journey back in the days.
Yes, I remember we bumped into each other at university. And then you were like, you want to get along? Let me speak to Antonio. And then we just knew each other. We were like, we just met each other from church. Yeah, I remember. You helped me get into university. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's a wonderful experience. And again, for us, it has been these are some of the things that solidify our relationship, our journey up to where we are at the moment. Now, if there's one thing that is amazing, it's great for you to take us through that experience, because it seemed as if at that stage again you knew what you wanted to do.
Yes,
but university, as you say, was just a means to an end.
Yes.
But you just knew that, okay, when I'm coming to university, it's for ABCD.
Yes.
And then you move, because I will give you an opportunity to elaborate on it, because I remember 2 months down the road, you were already doing another thing at university, which was not. we will bump into when we look at the percentage of you being out of your lecturers comparing today. It was like you were not going to lectures. Tell us about that experience.
So what happened is, so at university, got into university, and then I was talking to a gentleman, Muzi. So got into university, I'm like, but there's a market there. I see there are students, they're buying and selling things and stuff. So what can we do at university? I'm a student there now, and then that was March. I'm a student there now. I started in Feb, and then I see that there's capital. People are buying and selling things. So what can we sell at university for that market? And then he started to brainstorm with me. Because at the time we were trying to do like a Christian lounge, called Zoe Lounge. So we were trying to do a Christian lounge where Christians can come and chill and everything, and have all sorts of non-alcoholic cocktails. So we wanted to create like a whole lounge for that. But then I'm like, but we need capital to do that.
Yes.
So what can we buy and sell for now at university?
Wow.
And then he came up with the brilliant idea of textbooks.
Wow.
Yeah, he came up with the idea of textbooks, Muzi. And then I'm like, okay, textbooks. How do we do it? How do we acquire? It's like, no, we can start by getting people to bring us the books. We'll sell on their behalf and we take a percentage.
Wow.
I'm like, that's actually smart. Who else is doing it? It's like, no, I know someone that's doing it at UCT.
Wow.
But as we can start it here.
Because there's a market
There's
for
a market.
it.
So I brand the business, budget books. Muzi will visit once in a while, and then he dropped the business and he left. He just helped me start, and then he disappeared.
Wow.
When we owed people 4,000 and he disappeared. He's like, oh, because we like, we have to pay.
Trouble.
Like, we're in trouble. He's like, he disappeared. Okay,
Yeah.
but he helped me secure the space and everything. We were putting notice on notice boards. We were putting posters and stuff, and then I called it budget books. And then I'm like, bring your book, and then I'll sell it on your behalf. So I did not have time to go to lectures.
Wow.
So I had friends. I remember this lady from Gabon and another lady from Gugule too. Those two. They were the ladies that were giving me all the insights or what is happening in class so that I can read the books when I get home.
Wow.
And then they'll be giving me their notes. We'll go to the library, they'll give me their notes, and then I'll photocopy because I did not have time to go to lectures.
Yes.
So I spent the bulk of my time in front of the library.
Customers, yes.
In front of the library at TPUT Town Campus.
Wow.
Buying and selling books until it was exam time and everything. Then I'll get someone that will sit there. Because I realized that off-peak, it was very seasonal.
Yes.
Off-peak, we needed someone to stay there still for people who want to come and collect the money.
Yes, 100.
Or take their book back because you took too long.
Yes.
So I'm like, but then we're not making money, really. It's really more administrative. So I can get someone. So I took this lady. She was from Clairefontaine, I remember. She was coming every day, and I was paying her 1,000 rand a week. Wow. And then for her to just, it was 500 rand a week for her to sit there and then just help me with administration.
Yes.
So that is how I had now time to go write my exams. I had time to do this. And then when you look at my grades at university, it was just like 50, 60, 50, 60, 50, just enough to pass.
The other 40 was on the business side.
No, the grades, the actual grades, I never did excellently well.
Yes, because that's what I'm saying. So the other 40, we can say the business took it. We give it credit to the business.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And then the only class I remember I would literally make a plan for was strategic management.
Wow.
I fell in love with strategic management.
Wow.
And then I was attending every single lecture of strategic management. I just loved it. The way you need to think of the story behind the story and all of that. Strategy has been my thing. So I'm like, I fell in love with that subject.
Wow.
And I will never miss that subject.
Wow. No, but that's really, and when you're talking from that particular business, I know that there was a spark. I remember even the times where all of us, we will think about going to study, all of it, you were still combining. You will do your business during the day and then at night there.
That's when
and then from that particular moment, there was another transition that came in. Tell us about the next transition.
The book.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. 2012, I merged with Budget Books with Pimp My Book.
Wow.
So Asibrin Podumo at the time was the founder of Pimp My Book. I'm like, no, let's merge. He wanted to get into CPUT, UWC, and those were markets I was going to. And he's like, no, let's merge operations. And then we form one business. And then we'll do. So Podumo and Kulekani were at Pimp My Book, and then I joined them.
Wow.
And then I started to run operations and finance. And then Podumo was in charge of strategic relationships.
And how did you see the niche and the needs? What were some of these things that you managed to catch for you to say, okay, it was important to get into a merger with them in acquisition? Yeah.
Scale. I love the brand, Pimp My Book. It sounded cooler.
Yes, I think
than-
all of us, when we heard of it, we were like, okay,
Pimp My Book.
Pimp
Yes,
My
this was
Book,
really great. I'm like,
yes.
I love your brand, but it's too purple. We need to make it pink. So we changed from purple to pink.
Yes.
At that time, and then we had a guy called Elvis that was actually doing the whole pink thing, and he did the whole branding. Very brilliant guy. And then he rebranded Pimp My Book to a pink brand. It was now even cooler.
Wow.
And then Podumo at the time was talking to a Canadian group to secure funding.
Wow.
And then I'm like, okay, if you're securing funding, we can grow together. I'll run the operations and you do strategic relationship and the strategic direction of the business. I'll take care of the day-to-day and all of that expansion. We moved from 3 stores to 8 stores.
Wow.
Yeah, in a matter of 2 years. 8 stores plus an online store, so 9. Revenue tripled. So it was a great endeavor.
Yeah.
But we must also understand what happened during that time.
Yes.
There was a transition in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
From 2012 to 2014, there was a rise of e-commerce.
Yeah.
Kalahari and Takealot fighting for market share.
Yes. And
then Kalahari and Takealot started to sell brand new textbooks at the price of second-hand textbooks.
Wow.
So they were discounting the book by 30%, 40%, operating at a loss to get the student market. So we could not compete anymore because what students were doing now, they will go and buy brand new books from Kalahari and Takealot, and then make copies and then come and sell it to us.
Wow.
So it was a problem for us. We're like, so we're not making money anymore.
Exactly.
So there was serious pressure, but we were still doing well. But then we say it was a matter of time.
Yes.
So I was like, how do we compete with Kalahari and Takealot? How do we go after that? And I remember at university, at that time I finished CPUT, now I moved to UWC, where I was actually expelled by UWC.
Wow.
I was expelled after 6 months. They said, don't take my studies seriously. You come 30 minutes before the end of the exam. That's when you show up. You don't come to class, and this is postgrad. You cannot do that.
Wow.
So they wrote me a letter to say, you're expelled for 2 years. You cannot study at UWC. Yeah, because I was not taking my postgrad seriously.
And I know again that business was, because you remember those years where you had the internet at your house, and
yes,
I will come
I'll
come to use the internet and do my assignment. But we will only meet like at 1 a.m. You come at 1 a.m.
That's when I come.
And
I'm leaving the stores.
And at 6 in the morning, you are out.
You have to leave. Yeah. Because that was like time where you'll then try and manage studies and the business 100%. That was going through a transition.
Yeah.
But then so like, how do we compete now? These guys have brand new textbooks at 30-40% discount.
Wow.
That's the price of second-hand. So we must have a value add. So I then suggested to my partners at the time, Lekani and Podumo, and to Enablers, I'm like, how about we actually add study tools?
Wow.
Study tools, I'll create a platform where if you buy a book from us, we'll give you study support online. And then you just need to buy a book from us. You buy a brand new book from us or a second-hand textbook from us, we'll give you tutor support online for anything, for the books that you have there.
Wow.
So I brought that idea of an online platform for study support for everyone that would buy a textbook from us at university. That was for me a response to Takealot and Kalahari. How do we compete with them? And I'm like, that sounds great. But they rejected it. And I even remember they told me, no, if you've got an idea that will change the world, go and do it on your own, not at Pimp My Book. It is a retail business. If you want to make more money or diversify and stuff, you must add more product to the stores. So Pimp My Book went the route of adding computers, adding selling airtime, and then selling gadgets. I did not believe in that vision.
Wow.
So I then divested completely from Pimp My Book.
And I can say from you and also the partners, that was one of the difficult moments, knowing how much you invested your time, the resources, and because especially time. You being a close friend of me, I know that there were 2 or 3 years where you were nowhere to be found.
Correct.
The only place where we could meet you was in your office, in Observatory. So I know that this was, but how did you overcome that challenge? Because I know that it was not only financially, but it was your baby, and you being shifted because of strategy and direction. How did you overcome those challenges?
So the thing is that the good thing is that I never fell in love with any business. So it's hard for me to get attached to things, right?
Wow.
I don't get attached to things, which is a problem, right? So it's easy for me to move on. So I was not attached to the concept or anything to the business. Yes, you've got memories, so many photos, so many memories with staff members and stuff like that, partners. But for me, the most important is where the direction we're going, right? So if the direction means that we need to offload certain people, offload certain things, and all, I'll gladly do that, because the most important is where we're going.
Wow.
So I never had any difficulty moving on from Pimp My Book. Wow. But what was more difficult, though, for me was whether what I'm pursuing is worth my time.
Yes.
That was, for me, what I'm pursuing. That was the most difficult. I'm like, this new concept of study tools, is it really worth my time? Can it really grow big? Can it really have a social impact? Because that was also the time where I was really finding my life purpose, where I say, and then I even put a statement there that my life purpose is to solve complex social problems using business and technology.
Wow.
Business for sustainability, technology for scalability.
Wow.
So that's my life purpose. And then I'm like, which complex social problem am I solving? Until I Googled the failure rate at universities in South Africa.
Wow.
And it was like 82%. I'm like, failure rate? And it was largely driven by UNISA.
Wow.
They say between students that move from 82% of the students moving from first year to third year actually drop out.
Wow.
So I saw it as well myself in class, because the students we started with in first year, who were very few in our third year.
And graduation, when you go to graduation, it's just like maybe 20% or 25%.
Of the cohort.
Yes.
Of the first year. So it was a major problem.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to solve it. So it gave me energy.
Wow.
March 2015, I was done with my book. 1st of April, on April's Fool, I started the Student Hub.
Wow.
That was my first day at the office. And then it was like a tiny room, very tiny room. And then we had to paint it blue, and because it was white and blue at the time, paint it blue and everything. And then I took my girlfriend at the time, Clara, you remember her. I took her at the time, and then she became my right-hand person in that business.
Like your secretary and executive.
Yes, she was helping me with the study tools part. And then I had another friend of mine, Maud, who convinced her mom to give us capital. And then she gave me 100,000 rand to start with. And another friend of mine, her mom met me at when I went to visit them. She was touched by my story, and she gave me 150,000 rand. So I had 250,000 rand, and then that's how I started the Student Hub.
And again, I think there's a step which I want the listener. I remember back in the days when you got into this transition, you got a designer, which is a close friend of ours,
yes,
who had to design
the platform.
And before even we get into a digital space,
yes,
you had to come up with things such as maybe the logo and to present to people. And that process was a bit challenging. Take us through the funding process.
Yes, part. So you had to really use family, friends.
Yes.
All right, family and friends. So those are the only resources that you have when you start.
Yeah.
So you had to look at your friends. What are the skill set that they have, and who has time. And the good thing is that we were all still at university level. So I finished university, but they were still studying, and some of them were still studying, some of them just finished looking for jobs. So some friends had time. So you'll be using the time. So I was using another friend of ours. He was working for a call center, but great with sales.
Yes.
And then he would come and train my team for sales. I remember we had to hire our first recruit, and then he came for the interview, and Clara was there as well. And then we sat there, and then we had to interview this person for the role of a call center agent.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we're happy. So how much is the salary that you want? And the person said, no, I want 4,500. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. We'll call you back. And then I had Clara and then Emmanuel there. I'm like, guys, how do we afford 4,500 a
Yeah.
month?
Because
Where's the money
coming from?
And like, we need to start to sell books immediately.
Exactly, yes.
So then I'm like, so the study tool will take time. So we'll start to sell books online, and then where to design an e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
And then that friend helped us to design the e-commerce platform. And then we also now started to design the e-learning platform to integrate e-commerce and e-learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started to look for investors. When I built the thing, and then a friend of mine randomly modeled, oh, she is probably the person that gave me a break in life.
Wow.
If it wasn't for her,
wow,
I don't think there will be any student hub or anything.
wow.
6 months into the business, we were working on a deal, and this advisor of ours that we got from Stellenbosch, who ended up becoming our largest investor later on.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
really, it's a great story. He came to a business meeting where we are trying to secure investment, and he collapsed it. He's like, these guys cannot take any loan. You guys should put equity and consider that you've lost it because it's a startup.
Wow.
And then we'll all be fighting to try and get that money back with a 90% chance that you will not get your money back. That is the risk you need to put into this business. If you believe in the dream that these guys have.
Yes.
The investor pulled out.
Wow.
And they're like, we're not going to do this. And then my friend that day went home. We were all broken. And then she said, as she was about to sleep, she said she heard a voice. I don't know if she had too much wine or what, but she said she heard a voice that said, sell the property that you're in. Imagine the only property had that her mom gifted her.
Wow.
Sell the property and put the money into the student hub.
Wow.
The next, she sends me that, and then that was from a Monday to a Tuesday. She sends me that message on Tuesday night, 2 a.m., me, I'm on my computer. I told her, you're not doing it.
Wow.
She did not respond to me. She blocked me. And then on Thursday, I haven't spoken to her in 2 days. On Thursday, she comes. She's like, no, I've put the house out. The agent came on sale and everything. And then the following, it happened so quickly.
Wow.
The next week, there was a buyer.
No
that
way.
Put down a deposit. And then we now too went to that advisor and told him, look, there's a transaction of a property for 2.3 million rand. And then 2 million is coming to the business. Can you lend us 350,000 rand?
Wow.
And he's like, okay, cool. And he gave me 350,000, and that's how we could have capital to properly start the business. 2016, the money started to flow, and then the business took off.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the first model did not work out. And then there's a lot story from a long story from 2015 to 2025.
Yes.
But then that's how the business started.
So now in that particular stage, because you being being the CEO and founder of Student Hub, at that particular, what you have learned from there, what are, for example, I can say, some of the major lessons that period someone can learn, entrepreneurs and new people who are venturing into the business, if you can say that you want to share some of the advice based on that experience of Student Hub, what will you say?
I'll say the entrepreneurship journey is random because I cannot remember a single business plan that went according to plan.
Wow.
Not a single business plan. We could not focus past 3 months. Okay.
Wow.
And then you got investors asking you for 5-year vision on paper and it doesn't work.
Wow.
So maybe corporate, yes, because the business is there, you learn already, and then you've been, and now maybe at a later stage as well, like where we are now, we can focus accurately the next 12 months. But then at the time, it was random. You embrace opportunities as they come. And then most of my major breaks, if not all my major breaks in life, the opportunities that help you to move to the next level and the next level and the next level, those opportunities came randomly, unexpectedly.
Wow.
I can't say it's like someone calling you, no, come for breakfast, and then at that breakfast you connect with someone else, and then boom, the person wants to invest, or that person knows someone, and randomly like that.
Wow.
And then you'll go to a random event, and then someone will then introduce you to someone, and it's always like people doing random stuff.
Yes.
And then you get your break.
Wow.
The most important thing I would say in entrepreneurship is having a good network.
Wow.
For me, that's it. If you've got a strong network and then you're good with people, I'll say you're 50% there.
Wow.
Yeah, you've got a vision and a strong network, you're 50% there.
Wow.
If not more.
Wow.
Because everything comes from the people that you know, and then the people that they know, and that's basically how it is. So relationships for me in business is probably number one, top of the list.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really important that your network becomes your net worth.
It is.
Wow.
So when you look at it as well, the more you push and stuff, the more you start to meet people at a certain level. But the most important thing though is when you join any network, because I think it's the most important.
Yes.
When you join any network, it's not to take, it's to give.
Yes.
You must have something to contribute to the network.
Yeah.
And you must go there with the sole purpose of contributing. That's what I've learned in my journey.
That's awesome.
I've never joined any network to take. I'll join the network because I like the people.
Yes.
And then I had something to offer. And that's why they will invite me to the network.
Wow.
And then usually what you have to offer is all in your head. So it's your vision and then what you want to do. And some of them get like, they love the energy and they feel like, okay, maybe we can do something there. Yeah. And then it's the other people that you know that they will also want to know. And then that is how you grow.
Yes.
So you must go there with the intent, or I would even say the sole intent, to contribute to the network, to the people in the network. And in return, the network responds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
With, okay, you have contributed, and then here's how we need to. So I think if you really want to use the people factor in your success, you must be a giver.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So giving it's quite important into the network and your approach as you are building your relationship.
Correct.
Now we're coming back into, you got that major breakthrough with Student Hub. And then now I believe that was another level of the business, another major step and milestone in your journey to success.
Full
if you
of
can
confusion.
Just take us through, especially the confusion. It's important. Yeah.
We changed the business model 4 times.
Wow.
Okay, 4 times. The first business model, 2015, did not work. Second business model, 2016, did not work. The first 3 years of the business, we did not know what we were doing. 0 customer, 0, just hope and ability to convince people to join your vision.
And in the midst of it, there's cost that are
there's
being,
cost. Yes, you still have to have
inquire
staff members.
costs.
You
Yes.
still have to build a platform where you don't really know where it's going. Sometimes this opportunity that the platform is going for, and then ended up changing it, and then you must change the architecture, and you need money.
Yes.
And then the platform is now going this direction because now the opportunities have changed. The market realities are different. Customers are teaching you different things.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I always say, like, if you can survive, and then it's very, very rare to have businesses where the product survives the first encounter with the customer, because at the first encounter with the customer you realize so much, you go back to the drawing board.
Yes.
So you need money for these pivots. So then to keep going, I was networking heavily, especially in Stellenbosch.
Wow.
I was spending probably like half of my weeks in Stellenbosch, incubators, meeting people and all of that, connecting with people at university level and stuff, because I was in education technology.
Yeah.
And then it is the Stellenbosch network that gave me my break.
Wow.
After my friend, it was the Stellenbosch network. I remember this guy, Philip Murray, brilliant guy, really great guy. He introduced me to all my angel investors.
Wow.
Organizing breakfast for me to meet them. And it was just like extra nice to me.
Wow.
You know, extra nice to me. I will never forget him.
Wow.
Philip Murray. He had no reason to be extra nice to me. And then he was just extra nice to me.
Wow.
He liked me from the onset. He liked my enthusiasm, and he had all of that. And it's like, okay. he will help me. Philip Murray helped me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
introduced me to my first angel investor who ended up giving me 20 million plus over a period of 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
Then another angel investor that I met with randomly gave me 1.8 million without due diligence, nothing. He met me, and then a week later, the money was in my bank account.
Wow.
Another angel investor, zero due diligence, just like that, 2016, when we ran out of money. And then we were pivoting now to move into the technical and vocational space. He gave me 1.8 million. No due diligence, nothing, just because I like you.
Wow.
Yeah. And then because people are saying good things about you.
Wow.
And then we went on, introduced me to PSG. PSG gave me like 5.5 million rand in 2018 when we started a new business model again. That was our third business model of trying 2018. Confusion after confusion. But for every new business model, I had the energy and conviction that it will work, that I convinced other people to give you the money.
Wow.
And then you'll try it, that it didn't work. So PSG gave me 5.5 million to try a new business model. And then 6 months later, they're like, no, we're not investing. This business model is going nowhere. Indeed, it was going nowhere.
Wow.
And then 2019 came, COVID around the corner, we don't know. And then I met, boom, these guys from Naspers and all that ended up giving me 70 million rand to say, push the fourth business model. It is the fourth business model that made us, that elevated us to millions of US dollars in turnover.
Wow.
It's a fourth business model. But the first 3, 0.
So and again, I know reading what Forbes described when you featured in 2021, it was a story of resilience and tenacity. How did you gather that energy to go again up until getting that breakthrough the fourth time?
Yeah, I think to get the breakthrough, you must have that ability to stay even when things don't make sense, right?
Wow.
And then also partly because you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
What else would you be doing?
That was the only thing.
That was the only thing. I'm like, if I drop this thing, then what will I be doing? Do I now prepare my CV? I don't have a CV. I've never had a CV, and I don't know. I've only had like one job my whole life. So I don't think I'm employable. So, I'm like, so what do I do? I'll be bored. I can't do 9 to 5. I've never done that. I've never reported to someone. So I think I'll make a very bad employee. In any case, the employment market will never accept someone like me. So I had no choice but to pursue entrepreneurship. And then in entrepreneurship, I also wanted to do something meaningful. And education for me was a natural step to follow.
Yes.
Do you understand? Natural step to follow. So that is, to answer your question, it's lack of option and lack of interest in anything else.
Wow.
So you only had one thing. It must work. If it doesn't work, then I'd rather die trying this thing.
Wow.
I had no option. I slept at the office for 3 years. I had nowhere to stay. And then my friend Maud gave me in 2016 a blue bin bag. We still have it.
Yes, I remember
that blue
that.
bin bag. That blue bin bag, and then that was my bed for 3 years.
Wow.
3 years.
Wow.
And I did not want to incur personal costs. I was living really frugally. I was very frugal. I was like, I just need enough money to eat and be at the office, pay the office rent, pay my staff members. That's all. I don't want to have a place that I need to pay, a car that I need to pay off and everything. So the car that I was, again, a gift from Maud. She gave me her car when she left South Africa in 2017.
Wow.
She's like, okay, here's my car. I will not use it. You have it.
Wow.
And I took that car, sold it, and then topped up a bit. And then I got my Audi, which was actually my bedroom also for some time.
Wow.
And then until 2019, until 2019, I did not want to have any personal cost. The business was making money. 2018, mind you, we made already close to 10 million rand in revenue.
Wow.
But I was like, I'm not touching anything. 2019, we made even more. 2020 and more. So it's only like 2019 where I felt like, okay, now things are getting a bit stable. Let me find a place to stay.
Wow. So which really means that your entire being was these things need to work.
It must work.
Because I don't have, because thinking of it again, I remember going through university, majority of students, as per normal and as required, everybody thought of getting a job. But knowing you from
Never
the
an option.
onset, job was not an option for you.
It is
Work
never
was
been.
not. It was really, as you say, 2 months into university entrepreneurship up until now. So I really see a sense of purpose, and with that, and I know purpose, it's something that is close to you. Before we move
Big
into
time.
another, maybe just define, especially journeys where it's you are on the valley because it's dark, you don't know what's happening, and entrepreneurs, leaders who find themselves there and still believing in the purpose and giving it another chance. Take us through the concept of purpose.
Concept of purpose. Okay, for me, purpose comes in as a sense of contribution to humanity while you're here. It answers the question of why I'm here. And then, I mean, it's a very big question, and I don't think that anyone has really managed, whichever philosophical inclination you have, no one has really been able to answer that question, right? To the point where everyone agrees that it is actually that. So there are many answers to that. But for me, if I have to summarize it, for me, is purpose is really answering the question of why I'm here.
Yeah.
And then that question has to do with what contribution do you want to make towards the advancement of humanity before you die.
Wow.
And then you only have like 70 to 90 years, if you like it, 90 years on Earth. And then what will be your contribution to humanity's advancement? Because you came here on Earth, you have found this Earth at a certain level. It wasn't that the case 5,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Every human that came in have made a contribution towards the advancement. What will be yours?
Wow. Wow.
And then for me, that's how I define purpose, right?
Yeah.
And then there's not single answer. It does not need to only be to say towards business. Some people is the kind of family they want to raise.
Yes.
Some people, but for me, it has to be that you're doing this thing because you want to contribute towards the advancement of humanity.
Yes. Yes.
That's for me.
Wow. And that story, I can say again, it has been looking at what you have done and what you're still doing, I can see that it has been a source of inspiration, even a source of innovation for you, because you keep on going. And then now we come to 2019.
2019.
Yes.
Where things are falling apart. I remember another thing in entrepreneurship, before I go there. Another thing in entrepreneurship is intuition.
Wow.
For me, intuition has been my best friend.
Wow.
Ever since. If it feels right, and then I strongly feel it, and then even if my head cannot comprehend it, but then if my heart really feels like it's the direction, I might not have all the answers, I'll follow it.
Wow.
I follow my heart. Like I won't question. Even if all the data indicates that it's a big risk, the chances of failure are like close to 99%.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I must do it, I will do it.
Wow.
So intuition for me is it's very important. And then I've got my own definition of what intuition is. What we'll touch on it at some point. But then intuition for me is a key thing. So 2019, November, I'm in a management meeting. I tell my team, I remember there were 3 of them, my PA as well. And I'm like, guys, I have a strong feeling that 2020, around March, at the time we don't know about COVID, nothing.
Wow.
Around 2020 March, we will be moving to a different level.
Wow.
I just can't define it now. But then I feel like we've got 5 months to make the necessary adjustment for March.
Wow.
Okay, we thought like, sales will boom, and then things will go great. Jan, Feb, March, we do less than what we did in 2019.
Wow.
I'm just like, oh, did I predict that the
Something
business will
wrong.
shut down or what?
Yes.
Because this is not, I just knew there would be a pivotal change.
Yes.
That's November. And then 26 March, lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah. And then as we go into lockdown, April, Standard Bank gives us a loan to sustain ourselves for 3 months.
Wow.
So I'm like, I've got 3 months to figure out what the heck do I do in this business.
Yeah.
And April, from the comfort of my couch, I started to receive calls and emails.
Wow.
We need a platform. Everyone is sitting at home. We need a platform. And we had a 3-year advantage over our competitors.
Wow.
Because we had all the educational content that was required, all the various partnership that was required, and then institution could appoint urgently, like with an emergency procedure.
Wow.
Without following the normal process.
Wow.
April. End of April, we get our first contract, 45 million rand. 2 months later, 18 million rand. Boom. We changed the business model to a SaaS model.
Wow.
And we signed over 100 million rand worth of contract in the first few months of COVID.
Wow.
And we never looked back.
Wow.
We thought after COVID, things will slow down. No. 2023, it was still going up.
Wow.
Do you understand?
Wow.
So we're like, we found a model. But then with any model, as an entrepreneur, you've got a vision on how big your societal impact should be and the footprint and everything. You start to realize that, well, there are scalability issues with this thing.
Exactly.
It works well for the South African market, but then how do you replicate this model
elsewhere
across the continent?
Yes.
In other markets? We were adventurous enough to 2021 to go and look at the DRC.
Yeah.
But the model that we have in South Africa doesn't work for the DRC. Yeah. You had to tweak it a little bit. We're like, it's not scalable enough.
Wow.
All right. With the US, a ChatGPT that works in the US, you just plug in here and it works. It's the same business model.
Yes.
So we had to go back to the drawing board. And we will announce something in September this year.
Wow.
Of a new product, probably the 5th alteration of the business.
Wow.
Hopefully, this is the alteration that takes us to the billions. Okay.
Wow. No, I think we are so excited, and we're quite happy that you are taking us. We're looking forward to September just to hear that. And as we are almost at the end, probably you can just share intuition, as you say.
Intuition.
And then your closing remark.
Great. So intuition, for me, is similar to what you do when you go to university, to school. You spend basically, to get ready for life, you spend the first 18, I would say the first 25 years of your life paying tuition fees, okay? Because you're getting tuition. But that is tuition. It's coming from the outside to the inside, right? So this is accumulation of knowledge. But there's also inside tuition, which is intuition.
Wow.
This is your inner being trying to give you information.
Wow.
Do you understand? Wow. And then that inner being trying to give you information, it has to do with your destiny.
Wow.
Do you understand? It has to do with your destiny, and then that is how I define it. So as much as your lecturer will give you tuition and stuff like that for you to pass the exam, because that's the destiny of the course, you must write an exam. Your inner being also give you tuition, that we call intuition.
Wow.
That tells you about your direction, your next step, the next hurdle, how you need to. And for me, I do not take intuition lightly, because it is teachings coming from your inner being.
Wow.
That's my definition of intuition.
Wow.
Yeah. So closing remark, I would say to every entrepreneur out there, your business plan is likely not going to work. You need to pay attention to the environment, changing dynamics and stuff like that. Build a strong network, where you are a contributor, a giver, and listen to your intuition.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the network will bring opportunities, will give you information. And then do not stop learning. You must constantly learn about the latest trend in the industry, where the industry is going, the macro dynamics. And whenever there are macro dynamics change in the ecosystem, there are opportunities.
Wow.
Hertzy
Kabeya, CEO of Black Ubuntu Technology. What an honor and a privilege to have you on the podcast, My Journey to the Top. And I know for sure that your journey is an inspiration. And we really appreciate all the listeners, followers who are following the program on all the social media channels. And we believe strongly that people will share questions, insights, which we will pass to Mr. Kabeya, who's going to be able to provide feedback. So we truly appreciate having you. And what an honor and what a privilege to have you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.